Welcome to a brand new video, everybody. My name is FaZe Crypto, and the first question I'd like to just put out there is, how is everybody dealing with the recent dip that we've seen in crypto? Honestly, Bitcoin down to 6,500, but honestly, Bitcoin's been having a really tough time getting out of that $6,000. It seems as if that's where Bitcoin has been trapped for quite some time, and honestly, when I see dips like these, in my own perspective, from my personal opinion, I would say that I see these things as a sale. I see these things as a great opportunity, because when people see green all the way across the board, I come on here and I'm like, no, all the cryptos are going to the moon and I'm not going to be able to fill my bags anymore, because the only reason some of us are interested in cryptocurrency is because some of these technologies are just so dang affordable. And that's really going to be a central point of this video, is that a lot of people think of this stuff all wrong. I mean, me personally, when I see the market cap teetering between 205 and 190 now, me personally, I honestly wouldn't mind seeing the market cap going down to 190 so we can all start over again. You know, what's a few $billion off the total market cap among friends, am I right? And a lot of people do have a similar sentiment to this. I'd say the people who've been in cryptocurrency a long enough time to essentially take their money and run, and then essentially people who are playing with house money are probably a lot less panicked when it comes to looking at these things, which is probably one of the fundamental reasons why we see the noobs in the crypto world essentially panicking right after, really a bipolar, like they see something, they get interested in a technology, and then all of a sudden they're packing their bags and running out the door and talking about how much cryptocurrency is just nonsense. But the people who have a data analytical understanding about these things don't really have diverse opinion as day to day goes when it comes to cryptocurrency, because realistically, when you think about the way that things are functioning as far as society goes, the fact of the matter is that cryptocurrency is just fundamentally a far easier and more advanced way of doing things than the previous paradigm. So when we talk about a paradigm shift, when we talk about cryptocurrency being a catalyst for an entire change on a global scale, I'm excited. I don't even care if Bitcoin goes down to $1,000. I'll be packing up my Bitcoin bags and getting ready to go to the moon, because the fact of the matter is that blockchain technology is not going anywhere. Whether or not the news wants you to think that cryptocurrency is gone just because of Goldman or whatever rolling back trade desk, who cares about all these establishment? Cryptocurrency isn't all about Goldman. That it doesn't say anywhere in the cryptocurrency handbook anything about Goldman. Realistically, certainly this does have something to do with the stock people. Obviously the stock market right around its all-time highs still. We haven't really seen a huge stock market crash. So ultimately, I'd imagine that a lot of these big whales are probably still, in just banking in on all their stocks that they're probably making. Dow leads stock market, Apple still solid. There's all these different stocks is probably the name of the game for the big whales. But all good things must come to an end, and eventually we're going to see this trend of the stock market coming to a swift and steady decline, and then, well, cryptocurrency is going to start looking a lot better for a lot of these big name, Mark Cuban type people who are looking to just shove billions of dollars into this space. Now, obviously, that's not necessarily a prediction. That's just more of a just a seasoned veteran person who's been involved. I've been paying attention to cryptocurrency and its relationship to a lot of these different dynamics for a couple of years now, and it seems as if, obviously by checking out the history of cryptocurrency, it's really no indication of where things are going to be going in the future, but at the same time, it is a really interesting tell as far as where we can see things going. So let's just check it out. HODL for life. Let's see what where that goes. 76% of people say HODL for life. 16% say shut screen. That's not a bad one either, honestly, because if you just shut your screen, you really only lose when you sell. So when you see these days where everything's in the red, the best thing to do is essentially walk away, because what are you gonna do? Tell your wife that it was all a sham. Tell your wife that cryptocurrency was just some, And then what are you going to do? Get rid of your Bitcoin now, and then when we see Bitcoin up to $8,000, you're going to hop back in? It's really, I can imagine the insanity that's brewing in the minds of some of these people who are trying to get a grasp on how these things are going to be functioning in the future. But ultimately, I just wanted to dedicate the first half of this video to, giving attention to that, because a lot of people really want me to talk about, the current state of the market. But realistically, the market doesn't necessarily interest me in its current state. I continuously just do the same. My philosophy personally, my own opinion, is buy in the red and sell in the green. It's pretty simple, brass tacks. So when I see things all the way across the board in the red, pretty simplistic, self-explanatory. Now, ultimately, this video we're going to be getting into more detail, talking about essentially, because those of us who've been doing our research into cryptocurrency, we understand Bitcoin is essentially the introduction to the public consciousness regarding cryptocurrency. It's digital gold. It's a placeholder for money using the internet, a power structure that can essentially be passed down because there's a limited amount of Bitcoin, all these things, yada yada. And then essentially Ethereum being the smart contract revolution, the expansion upon the original Bitcoin philosophy. And now we get to talking about Cardano. And when you look at essentially the team that's working on Cardano and the history behind the team that's working on Cardano, they're well-seasoned veterans in the cryptocurrency space who really do have an interesting idea of where these different things are going to be going in the future. Essentially, a lot of the people who are really key players behind Ethereum moved over to Cardano, and what with the flexibility that Cardano has, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see where Cardano goes in the future. Now, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to panic. I don't really even have much of an opinion. I see Bitcoin dominance for what it is at 54.6%. I see the market cap for what it is at 205. But then again, I also like to look at the world debt clock, because this is and I know the world debt clock has sort of become a meme on this channel, but it's not any kind of a joke. I like to show you guys the world debt clock because it really is a good pronunciation of the problem that's happening with the old paradigm and how the way that our grandparents set up the system, away from the internet before these technologies were in place. This is what it gets us. It gets us just racking up global debt. And what's the solution? Well, I'm not going to say cryptocurrency is the entire solution, but ultimately there's going to need to be some changes. We're going to need to implement a smart economy the same way that we implemented smartphones. All these different smart things are the way of the future. The Internet of Things is right on the horizon. So ultimately, no, I wouldn't panic over a couple of percents. Essentially, you could go and walk away from the computer, take a walk in the woods, and I'm sure things will be up from where they are now at some point. That's really just a waiting game. And ultimately, that's what it is. It's about patience. And if you don't have patience in the cryptocurrency world, well, then it's up to you whether or not you want to go home and cry to your parents or whatever, go live at home again, go back to college. But for the rest of us who are willing to take the chance on this shifting paradigm, who are willing to take the ride together, we're going to be going into detail regarding Cardano's blockchain infrastructure and how it's been growing, and essentially these different partnerships that have been made, established with Cardano, where we can be expecting Cardano to go into the future. Really an unparalleled development of what we can be expecting a lot of these cryptocurrencies to be following. The founder of Cardano is certainly a force to be reckoned with, and a lot of these different things very much do check out. So when we look at this shifting paradigm, and we look at the fact that Cardano really is strategically placing itself to rise up, I would say that after the market crash, Cardano does have the potential to be in the top 5. Cardano has the potential to give Ethereum their run for their money, pending the fact that Cardano does everything that they are establishing themselves to do, and all the indications seem to be that Cardano's got all of its ducks in a row. Now, obviously, this video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Remember, do your own research. I'm not your dad, but at the end of the day, it is interesting to see what Cardano has been doing as far as taking these next steps in the revolutionary world of cryptocurrency that we see unfolding before us. So, if you lose faith in these technologies due to just a couple couple of bad days like these, well, then I feel sorry for you, because the rest of us are going to be driving around our Lambos and all these other things. But I digress. The fact of the matter is that it's important always to be paying attention to the new technologies and really get yourself out of the equation, get your own thoughts and feelings out of the picture, so that you can really have a perspective on these things that's based on facts, data analyticals, and essentially just the real meat and bones of what's going to be happening in the future. So I hope you guys have found this video entertaining, educational, whatever, found my opinion enlightening. And all that being said, I hope you guys join us in the next video, or of course, if you guys are interested, you guys can join us on our Twitter, and our Twitter is really simple. It's just at CryptoTuber, and I'll be including a link to the Twitter in the description. So if you're interested in continuing the conversation over there, feel free to. And all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and stay relevant, everybody.